Greetings and salutations. Hey besties! At the time of filming this, I have not uploaded my Carry On reading vlog, so I have no idea how well it did, but even if it flopped, we're gonna continue with this series. Today we're gonna start rereading Wayward Son. I read this book once when it came out, and it didn't come out that long ago. I think it was 2019, but I truly cannot remember much from this book at all. It is significantly shorter than Carry On, which I didn't actually remember. I remember this book being a lot of fun, again the same as Carry On, but also having like a stronger undertone of sadness throughout the entirety of the novel, so that'll be fun for me and my mental stability. Let's start rereading Wayward Son. Let's go. Simon Snow is lying on the sofa. Simon Snow is pretty much always lying on the sofa these days. Me the past few weeks in my depressive episode. See, I've loved him through worse. I've loved him hopelessly. So what's a little less hope? 2 pages in and they're hurting me. Cool, this is gonna be a fun fucking ride. That's what I'm going to say when I break up with Baz. I'm doing it so that he doesn't have to. I can tell he wants to end this. I can see it in the way he looks at me. Or in the way he doesn't look at me. Because if he did, he'd have to face what a tosser he saddled himself with. What an absolute loser. Simon, baby. His complete and utter lack of self-esteem after losing his magic. I think, again, I appreciate, because I do think it's realistic, seeing a realistic response to a hero losing a lot in a battle. I feel like in a lot of fiction, especially like fiction that's aimed at younger people, we never see realistic responses to trauma or to like massive losses like this, and I appreciate that we're getting a realistic response here from Simon. But also, ow, it hurts me. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. When someone fucks up absolutely everything, that person is an absolute fuck up. That hit too close to home. I don't want to think about that today. Too much for me. No, 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 no. But it was a mistake thinking of that as an end. There is no end. Bad things happen and then they stop, but they keep on wreaking havoc inside of people. Yeah, that's true. Me being riddled with all the trauma of my past, even though there's not actively anything bad happening to me at this point in time. For the first time in years, there's not anything actively bad happening to me right now, but I'm so riddled with the trauma of everything from my past that I'm still really struggling right now. I'm still in a massive depressive episode because the weight of a relatively recent trauma has only just really started to hit me. But like, that hit a bit too much. It was like she pulled the feeling right out of my heart. I could have kissed her. I still wish sometimes that I wanted to. That would feel like an answer to the question of me. Then I could say, oh, that's who I am. That's why I've been so confused. Agatha be out here breaking my heart once again. She'd be out here just being like the most upsetting character. We still felt strange and lost, I think, but it was good to be strange and lost together. It was good to be lost with a friend. Anyone want to get lost with me, maybe? Josh and his friends are obsessed with leveling up and maximizing potential. If you suggest brunch, they'll be like, let's change the world instead. Let's climb a mountain. Let's get VIP seats for the U2 concert. Now next is their social club. It's like Weight Watchers for rich men. It's almost like how to win friends, influence, and let you down. Anyway, fuck off, stop calling me Josh, is the joke. Plain engine preserving, she repeats. You know, in case of critical engine failure. Simon can save me, she says. He's already saving me. I'm saving the women and children, Snow says. Technically, I say. You won't have wings. Little bantery moments like this are my absolute favorites. Hi, Percy. He's lovely. A bit of a sad mess, dull and pale and rough around the edges, but still so lovely. Baz is literally so in love with Simon, I could genuinely throw myself out that window. Shit makes me so lonely. Does anyone want to look at me and think that I'm lovely, a bit of a sad mess, dull and pale and rough around the edges, but still so lovely? Come on. I feel really bad for Penelope with the whole situation with Mika, but he's quite right. Penelope was not engaging in that relationship whatsoever, and he had tried to break up with her multiple times beforehand, and like he probably should have said the words "I'm breaking up with you" if she wasn't getting the hint, but he was dropping a lot of hints and being quite clear about it and kind of saying everything besides it, and Penelope should have picked up on that. I do think it was his responsibility to actively say the words "I am breaking up with you," because if you're trying to break up with someone and they're not getting the hint, you should just break up with them. You need to be blunt, I think. But also that seems like a mortifying experience and a position I never want to be in. I don't blame him for getting tired of the long distance. I don't blame him for literally, imagine like dating someone and it being long distance and not speaking to them for 2 months. That's a lot. I don't blame him for wanting that relationship to be over. I don't think he did anything wrong, besides maybe not being clear when she deserved him to be clear. But I still feel really bad for her in that position. Baz takes me to a Starbucks to use the facilities, and when I come out with a massive rainbow striped frappuccino, he's shouting at Penny. I love how gay that is. I just love how gay that is, a massive rainbow striped frappuccino. But also, what fucking flavour is a rainbow striped frappuccino? We don't have Starbucks in Adelaide, a fact that upsets me deeply because, oh my god, sometimes I just want a Starbucks iced caramel macchiato. I have not had one in over a year. It's my go-to Starbucks order. What fucking flavour is a rainbow striped frappuccino? What is in that? What is in that? Hey besties. Okay, so I was gonna film like all day today, get through a huge chunk of this, because while I do film a lot with my like just ring light and filming it at night because I read more at night, I hate the way that my face looks with a ring light on me. So I was like, after editing Carry On, where majority of that video was filmed at night with a ring light, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna film as much of this as I can during the day, during sun. Turns out that was the plan for today, but after I finished filming like some Annabeth cosplay videos this morning, my mum called me and was like, hey, I'm going to Spotlight, which if you're not Australian, Spotlight is like a arts and craft and sewing store. My weakness. She was like, want to come? And I was like, yeah, I do. And I spent all day there, and now the sun is going down and I haven't started reading. So if this video is almost entirely me with the ring light again, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you have to see me that way in that lighting. I am just weak and I like to look at paints, and this is the situation we're in now. I'm exhausted and sunburnt and starving and about to walk into a shopping mall full of potential blood donors. The idea of a vampire seeing any human and calling them a potential blood donor is very funny to me, I'm not gonna lie. Penelope being so out of character and catatonic and just upset and sad really breaks my heart. I hate seeing her like this. And I understand, like, she's a person with emotion. She's going to be sad sometimes. But I don't enjoy seeing her this way. It makes my soul hurt a lot. I love Baz. He's genuinely so good at comforting Penelope, even though like 10 seconds before he was complaining endlessly about her catatonic state and how he didn't know what to do with her right now and how he wanted her to just be normal. As soon as he heard what happened and he understood where Penelope was coming from, there was this massive switch and he just was there as a friend. And I just love Baz. I think Baz is just such an incredible character and such an incredible human being, and I just adore him like wholeheartedly. I think Baz is the biggest sweetheart, and I love that Baz is the biggest sweetheart because he looks like the angsty, stereotypical kind of like toxic, aggressive kind of male character in YA, like male love interest in YA. When we first meet him, we kind of think he is that, and he's just not. He's just like the most loving, caring soul, and not just for Simon. He like just is that when you get to know him. If you are anybody he cares about, he is so generous with his time with you and is just so compassionate and gentle, and I just adore Baz. We used to spend every night together and wake up together every morning. How long has it been since I fell asleep listening to him breathe? The pain of it all. I'm the one who fucked it up. I am fucking it up by being too fucked up in the first place, by not wanting to talk to him and never wanting him to spend the night, by not wanting him to look at me, by not wanting him to see me, actually. I hate how much I relate to that. I hate how called out by that I feel. Oh my fucking god. You made quite an impression on Brayden tonight, despite my best efforts. I'm serious. He says you have a singular energy. Ginger, that just means blonde. As a blonde, yeah, probably. Big mood. If the lighting's changed, it's because I'm still trying to preserve the little bit of sunlight we have, but it's not heaps, so I put on my apartment lights, so we might be a little bit more yellow. But hopefully we're still fine with actual daylight. I'm praying. I'm just trying to preserve sunlight for as long as I can. I do remember the Ren Fair part of this novel, and it makes my heart happy. I want to go to a Renaissance fair like more than anything. I've wanted to go pretty much my whole life. I feel like that would very much so be just something that I would enjoy. I want to buy an outfit for it. I just want to like live in that element and that the fantasy. Like that seems very much so like a place where I would have a lovely time. I would very much so feel like I fit in. I don't know. I don't have any like IRLs who would go with me, and I don't know that my social anxiety could handle going alone. I feel like that's something that at least the first time I went I would need a friend with me for, and I don't know that I have any who would be willing to go with me, so that's a dream that has not been fulfilled yet. But I do remember Renaissance Fair being in this novel, because anytime Ren Fairs pop up in media I love, I get very excited because I want to go to one so freaking bad. Without any warning, Simon's wings explode from his back and spread out completely in all their red leather glory. Simon freezes. Bunce holds out her ring hand, but the people in the queue don't seem fazed. Some of them even start clapping. Excellent cause, a teenage girl says, stepping up to inspect the wings. Did you build these yourself? Yes, Simon says. So cool. Do they move? He tentatively folds his wings back. Whoa, she says. I can't even hear the motor. Are they on strings? A magician never reveals the secrets, I say. That's so accurate. I love cosplayers. That is the exact... Honestly, if you are like a magical person who happens to be watching this and magic is real but we just don't know it and we're all normals or muggles or whatever you want to call us, the best place to fit in, if you're tired of hiding but you want a place where you're not going to expose yourself, just hang out around cosplayers. We'll just be impressed. The festival is set up like a tiny village with hastily built shacks and hand-painted hanging signs. Nearly everyone is dressed like Crowley, I don't know. It's like Monty Python and the Holy Grail crossed with the Princess Bride, crossed with Peter Pan, crossed with some film where all the women wear push-up bras and extremely low-cut dresses. Does this not sound like heaven to everyone else? Like, I want to be one of those women. You're not supposed to stay in the car the whole time on a trip, I say. You're supposed to get out and see things, meet strange people, low-to-cedars and sirens. That's not a road trip, Baz says. That's the Odyssey. When did you read the Odyssey, Simon? That's the kind of reference I would make with the kind of reasoning I would be. I'd be like, come on, guys, let's live out the Odyssey. Or like, pretend that we're demigods. Come on. That's my kind of road trip. Then she goes for my face with the wand. She's given up on casting spells and is just going to stab me with it. I can't explain how, but that has Hermione Granger energy. My mother is going to take away my ring. She's going to lock me in a tower. Like someone else I love. I want to take his hand and keep him here with me in the weeds. Are you still mine? I'd ask him. Do you still want this? But I don't. Because I don't want to hear him say no. That has the same energy as that one quote from Euphoria when they're heading to the Halloween party and Rue's talking about how sometimes you're with someone and you know that something's wrong but you don't ask whether it's wrong because they're not knowing, but suspecting is less painful than hearing an answer that you don't want to hear. That is not the quote, but it's the energy of the quote. And I think about that all the time because I'm very much so like that, where sometimes I'll be like suspectful of something, or I feel like I've done something wrong by somebody but I don't know what, or I feel like someone's upset with me but I don't know why, but they're not saying anything, and part of me will debate whether living with the not knowing is worse or if the hearing an answer that I don't want to hear is worse. I love when this book gives me an existential crisis. It's a fun time for me. Truly, I think one of my worst fears is being followed by another car in the middle of nowhere, because if you have nowhere to go, if you have like no populated area to go to and they just keep following you and you don't know where you are, like what do you do? How do you lose them? This scenario is giving me mad anxiety. At least I have magic, but I'm genuinely terrified of this happening. This is why like I love the idea of doing like a massive road trip. Ever since I was a kid, because I am a Percy Jackson fan, have wanted to do like huge road trips and kind of go to all the places that are mentioned on the Percy Jackson quest. I know that it would take way longer than it does in the books because Rick Riordan has no concept of time and how long it takes to travel through the US, so it would take way longer than it does in those books. But I've always wanted to go and do like that road trip with some friends who love Percy Jackson. This will never happen, it's just a dream of mine. And like, you know, we can do little cosplay photos and in the areas that the books mentioned, you know, hit the Hoover Dam, just go on the quests that are basically in the books, at least the ones you can do. I'm not about to go into the sea monsters. I've always wanted to do that, but like the concept of actually going on that road trip, if something like this happened, I would just lose my mind and simply pass away from fright. I think, I don't know if you actually can die of fear. I think you can, because like heart attacks can be caused by intense fear. I don't know, but like I would. I used to admire these two for getting out of so many tight spots. Now I know firsthand that they make so many great escapes because they walk into so many traps. That just summarizes like any group of main characters from like any kind of like fantasy story or story involving a hero. It's a man-sized polecat holding a shotgun. Why don't I remember this? I feel like I should remember this encounter, this character. Simon not knowing what animal the polecat is kind of really funny to me, just thinking it's a badger. I love Simon. Simon's a little bit of a himbo and I adore him. Also him being all protective and getting fucking furious because the goat man thing is feeling up Baz a little bit. I love a protective boyfriend. As much as I do love Simon and Baz deeply and I want them to be happy together and in a healthy relationship and a stable relationship together, the fact that Baz is willing to just be in life or death situations all the time in order to have Simon like want him is really unhealthy and makes me deeply upset, because while I completely understand where Simon is coming from with all of his insecurities in this relationship, we even know pretty much everything Simon says I relate to deeply, and it's upsetting. I relate to his trauma and him not feeling good enough for Baz because of it. But Baz being so willing to just be in danger in order to feel wanted is really heartbreaking and really unhealthy, and I don't want them to break up, but I really want them to work through it and get to a happy place where they can just feel comfortable with each other, and where Baz can feel like he's helping Simon, and Simon can allow himself to feel loved and cared for by Baz without guilt, without any of that. This book just makes me sad. I genuinely can't remember how trustworthy Shepard is, but I do remember loving his character, so I'm just gonna hope and pretend. And I think he's on their side. I think he genuinely just kind of wants information and just wants to know about the world, but is like a good guy from memory. But I remember really liking his character, so I'm just gonna go into this with like the expectation that he is good and I can trust him at least a little bit. I think I'd be a terrible hero. I think I'd trust him. I'm like a very trust people until they give me a reason not to. I would get killed so easily. I've realised that Shepard is just tall with curly hair. Is that why I liked his character? Because he's my type? I wouldn't put it past me. Oh my god, he has glasses too. I think I just had a crush on him. I think maybe I just had a crush on him. Maybe I can't trust him. I think I can. Or maybe I just had a fucking crush on him because he's my type. He's wearing a denim jacket with pins and badges on it. Normals who know about magic. I'm part of an online community. Fuck me. I drew back against the seat. Hey, he looks over at me. Are you alright? What's wrong? Everything, apparently. My mum was right about America. Also the internet. I love the idea that like somehow there's a community on the internet of people, of normals who know about magic, but it's like only really a thing in America. Like no one in England is aware that people on the internet just know about like magical beings. Why isn't magic real? Why can't I be part of an online community and just know about magical beings? What if they're real and they're out there and you just don't know about it? Sometimes I think about this as like, obviously magic isn't real or whatever. Like, I'm a grown up, I know. But also, what if it is and I'm just not special and I don't have it? I think that's worse than it not being real at all. Look, I don't know anything about you personally because you've answered exactly none of my questions. But if you didn't know about magic, if you were born normal or just ignorant, and then you saw some magic, if you witnessed a miracle with your own eyes, would you just leave it be? If you got a glimpse into a secret world, would you pretend it hadn't happened? Or would you spend the rest of your life trying to find a doorway? He's right, he is correct, he is absolutely correct in every way, shape and form. I would do the exact same thing. Maybe, you know, I do like his character. Outside of just being attracted to him, I do like his character. Also, I'm in love with him. I'm probably never going to have kids because I owe at least 3 imps my firstborn. Shepard having some brain cells and just not having kids because he owes people his firstborn. That's the thing that bothers me in so many fairy tales. Like, I understand that maybe like contraception was a bit more rare, but seriously, if you promise people your firstborn child, don't have a firstborn child. Just don't have a kid. Just while I was singing Amazing Grace, I thought I'd put myself on blast for being an idiot. When I was a kid, I thought Amazing Grace was the national anthem of the United States. I don't know why I thought that, but I did up until the age of like 11. Shepard coming in and defending them. I know I could trust my mans. No one that beautiful is evil. A lot of beautiful people are evil. It kind of makes them more beautiful to me in some ways. I do have a thing for villains in fiction, but anyway, no one who wears like denim jackets with pins and badges on them and has curly hair and is that beautiful and wonderful is evil. I know I could trust him. If he was evil, I would still be in love with him, but you know what I mean. Penelope is wearing Doc Martens. You know what I'm gonna say. Shepard played football in primary school, but now he prefers role-playing games. I am in love with this man. We turn onto a larger road following signs towards something called the Hoover Dam. I think I've heard of it. I've heard of it. You are the drain. He nods. Yeah. Sorry. Did I take your magic? Not mine. The world's. Yes. I'm sorry, Simon says again. I didn't know. She smooths his hair back, sopping it. It's okay. She babbles. You put it back. And more. Simon being forgiven for everything the humdrum did and all the magic he took from the world makes me really happy. I want everyone to forgive Simon, and I know that there are probably a lot of magical creatures that wouldn't and won't, and probably a lot of mages who won't, but Simon being forgiven by at least one person just makes me happy. I try not to think about how long it's been since I felt him like this, against me, shoulder to knee. I'm afraid if I do, I'll hold on too tight. I'll do whatever I did in the first place to scare him away. As he didn't do anything to scare him away. I hate how destructive these two are to each other. They want to love each other so bad, but they just kind of cause each other such pain, and I just want them to get to a healthy space. I do not want them to break up. I don't, like, yes, they're a bit unhealthy right now, but I'm selfish and I ship them and I think they're soulmates, and I don't want them to break up, but I really want them to communicate and get to a healthy place. Communication is what they need, I think, and they're just not communicating, and it really is upsetting. Sometimes Simon kisses me like it's the end of the world, and I worry he might believe that it is. The fact that Simon only kisses him when it might be the end of the world, they just break my heart. They really do. This whole chapter of I'd give him all that I am, I'd give him all that I was, I'd open up a vein. Like, it's romantic and it reads like fan fiction in a fun way, but it's also not healthy, and I want better for them. I do not want to say that I blame Agatha for getting herself into the situation whatsoever. Agatha thought she was going to a retreat with a friend. She did not do anything wrong. However, she can't be that surprised that they turned out real sketchy. She herself said they were a bit of a cult. They're very cult-like. But, like, she can't be that surprised that she kind of got herself. I guess she can be surprised that the magic came into play because she probably wasn't expecting that. But she can't be that surprised that this is becoming a very bad idea, because it clearly was, there was a lot of red flags. This was clearly, at best, this would have been like a midsummer situation, you know? But also, this really solidifies my fear of cults. I've talked about this on the internet before, I think on my TikTok. I'm terrified of being recruited into a cult because I'm the exact kind of like lonely, desperate, I always fall for love bombing kind of person, that if someone recruited me for a cult, like, I'm the perfect candidate. I wouldn't realize that it was a cult at first because I'm also oblivious and naive and like to think of the best in people, like, all the time. Like, everyone is like lovely until proven otherwise in my brain. And so I would just wind up in a cult, and then I wouldn't realize I was in a cult until I was in a cult, and then I couldn't get out of the cult. And this is solidifying my fear of cults. I'm really scared that I will end up in a cult one day just from my own stupidity. I don't know how common cults are anymore, but if they're common, I think I'll end up in one, and I'm very scared of that fact. They aren't especially beautiful, though some are. That's a myth, I think. Vampire beauty. What they are is especially rich and especially liquid. They move like oil, like shadows. So you're saying vampire beauty isn't a thing? Baz is just that beautiful. He was already that beautiful. He would have turned out that beautiful even if he wasn't a vampire. His beauty isn't because he's a vampire. Baz is just a beautiful person. Sounds about right. The normals are more of a threat to themselves. The magicians here are more worried about guns than they are about vampires. That does seem logical to me, not gonna lie. I don't want to keep making Twilight references and Twilight jokes in these reading vlogs, but look, Lim has just said take a walk with me. I cannot read those words and not hear them in Edward Cullen's voice in New Moon, but also his name is Lamb and he's a vampire. Is that not a little bit of a reference to like what a stupid lamb? Like a little bit, come on. I actually really like Lamb as a character. I know he's currently like shoving Baz up against a wall, but from memory he does end up helping them find the nail necks. Could be wrong. Again, I'm not great with trusting people, but I actually really like his character, and I actually like that they're not murdering people, really. They can't necessarily help what they are, and I like that he just is trying to be helpful to Baz and show him that there's a world he can live in without shame. And I think that that's a good thing for Baz to see, because he carries so much self-hatred around being a vampire, and that comes from the culture around vampires, from where he comes from, and him coming from mages. I don't think that Lamb is like an evil vampire. I don't think he's doing anything wrong. He feeds on people, which is questionable, but he's not killing them. He was very shocked at the concept of draining people dry, so he doesn't want to kill them. So it's fine. We'll excuse it. Also, just on the subject of Baz hating alcohol and, you know, drunk people, me too. I don't really drink. I drink a little bit, like, I have like a glass of wine with a meal, or a cocktail with dinner if I go out somewhere nice, but that's pretty much the extent of my drinking. I'm not really a big drinking person. I have come from like a family, I have a really intense family history of addiction, and particularly like alcohol addiction, so I'm just very well aware of like very much a drinking in moderation. However, I do think if I were to have like a weakness involving alcohol, it would be alcoholic milkshakes, because milkshakes are already my main weakness in life. I'm not gonna lie to you. Hi, just quickly, I do want to put a disclaimer, because I just realised after filming that I didn't say I'm 19, the drinking age in Australia is 18. Don't drink underage, I'm not condoning that. It's legal for me to drink. Don't drink underage, yeah. Even Shepard was shocked. Never go to a second location with an untrustworthy maybe. All right, John Mulaney. He used to be mine. Maybe he still is, a little bit. Enough that I'm allowed to look at him. But he's less mine than he was 3 hours ago, that's for bloody sure. He's less mine every minute we spend in this town. Then talk to him about it. Communicate. Talk to him about everything that you're experiencing, everything you're going through. Talk to him. Don't be so in your head about it, Simon. I understand him being in his head about it, and it's a lot easier for me to yell at a fictional character than, you know, if that wouldn't talk about it either. But like, you're a fictional character. You're better than real people. Communicate. Like, you can say you've never tasted human blood, or you can say that you have. And once you have, what does it matter whether it's one person or 50? I would say that matters quite a lot, actually, Baz. I think there's a very clear distinction between having tasted one person's blood and having tasted 50 people's blood. I'm gonna be real. See, I love Lamb. I really do. Like, him genuinely having such sympathy for Baz and caring about the brotherhood that he's a part of and just being a good person, I guess, without harming people, but also just understanding that, like, vampires are creatures, then they're not animals, they're people as much as anyone else, and they found a way to exist while still drinking blood, but not killing people, not turning people. They're being safe about it, and he's helping Baz. He's helping him learn how to eat without his fangs popping and just learn how to, like, coexist in humanity and take control over his animalistic tendencies because he's not an animal. Convincing Baz of it and being really gentle and loving. And I love Lem a lot. He's a good character. If he betrays Baz in the next few pages, then I take this back, but I don't think I will. I understand if Simon would, you know, get upset about the fact that Baz is going to a second location with Lem, even though he promised he wouldn't, because Simon is coming from not only a place of worry about Baz, but a place of, like, relationship insecurity with relatively good reason. Baz was straight up flirting the night before. But I also do understand that Baz is, like, having a breakthrough and their friend is in danger, Agatha is in danger, and he can't really risk just being like, I can't go with you because my boyfriend said so. He does kind of have to do what he can to help Agatha, and in that moment, that means going to another second location with Lem. Yeah, I might cry for a couple hours about Baz recognizing Simon's heartbeat. I might go cry about that for a couple hours. Don't mind me, BRB. Those fights used to feel so good. It meant getting to look at Snow, getting his attention, having a place to hurl all my feelings for him, even if they came out spiked and razor sharp. Fighting doesn't feel good anymore. It feels like breaking something because you don't know how to fix it. Ouch. Ouch. That hurt me. That hurt me, Percy. That hurt me. Vampires are banned. They're actually forbidden. It's the law. They're like pit bulls or adders, simply not allowed in the world of mages because you can't trust them not to murder you. And yes, I get that Baz is a vampire. I appreciate the irony, but he hates vampires more than anyone, which is the only reason you can trust him. Simon, you're letting some of your prejudice show here. You've had every example given to you that the vampires here, particularly the ones you're working with, the vampires in Las Vegas and Lamb specifically, are not like the vampires in England. They're not like the vampires from the world of mages. They're not killing people, they're not hurting people, they're not turning people. You know this for a fact, it has been explicitly said to you, and you're still letting your prejudice show. Please stop being such a Gryffindor and try being a Ravenclaw for 3 seconds here, buddy. Oh, for fuck's sake, Lamb tricked them. I don't remember this. It's a fucking quiet zone. I don't remember this. Oh, I feel like an idiot now. Oh. Well, see, this is why I'd end up in a cult. God damn it. I am magic. Whether I like it or not, whether or not I claim it, whether or not I carry my wand, it's in me somehow. Blood, water, bone. And Brayden is going to get it out. I should have ended this before he had the chance. That would have been the heroic thing. I should have thrown myself down a well. Penelope would have. How have I lived through so many happy endings without ever learning how to save the day? Agatha, my love, you can still save the day. And I don't know that you've lived through many happy endings, if I'm being real with you. I don't think you've lived through many happy endings, babe. I think your happy ending is yet to come, and I think you can still save the day. Literally everything Agatha says just breaks my heart. I feel so deeply sorry for her. She's so unhappy in her life and with every form that her life takes, and I just want her to find a place where she feels she belongs. I want her to feel content and comfortable in her own skin. Agatha breaks my heart. 5 seconds later, we have Agatha using her immense intelligence that we all know that she has. She just doesn't realize how she has it, to figure out that even though they're in a dead spot, a quiet spot, whatever you want to call it, there's still a pop-up city because there's a festival, which means that her magic is going to work, and there is a specific spell that's going to help around vampires that she can cast without a wand. That's my bitch. Wait, why is smoke coming from Josh's mouth then? I trust that, you know, Shepard is the love of my life and has, you know, eaten something or got something in his blood, wearing a cross secretly somewhere. He's done something to protect himself from vampires. He's not an idiot. But I also don't remember what he's done, and that wasn't the exact response that I thought would happen when Josh bit him. And probably everyone here would be more hawked off over that if Baz didn't just grab the leader of the next blood by the neck and rip off half his jaw. Oh my god, Baz, love of my life, hello, oh my goodness. No. Penelope reaches frantically into my pocket and pulls out my swift army knife, holding it up to her face. I try to keep my hand steady. I try to ignore the blood. No, don't like that. Don't like that. One of the vampires jumps on my shoulders. Lamb sighs and pulls him off. I guess we're doing this. Hang on, how many men died because the lead was inexperienced and ruinous? Okay, so we're doing this. Stop singing show tunes. The imagery of Agatha and Penelope holding hands with like blood on their faces, just kind of setting fire to everything around them, is the one piece of imagery that I really remember from this book, because I remember reading it and being like, girlfriends? They're holding hands. But also I just loved, like, I love horror, and there was like even they say it in the book, that's like a Stephen King kind of vibe to it, but it just reminds me of a visual from a horror novel or even a horror film. It gives me kind of like a good for them final girl moment vibe, which I love. It's my favorite kind of genre of horror movies. It's my favorite ending to a horror movie, is a good for her final girl moment. And also, they're girlfriends? They're holding hands, so they're girlfriends, maybe? Shepard has a curse. Did not remember this at all. Thought maybe he'd eaten something or drank something that made him immune to vampires. I gave him more credit than he had. He's just got a curse. He's just cursed by some type of demon, so I assume this will come into play in the third book. Could he not have been smart enough to not get cursed, you know? This is how this book ends? On that big of a cliffhanger, they don't sort out their relationship. We don't know anything about what's happening at Watford. This is how this book ends? Oh my god, I'm so fucking glad that I only have like a couple weeks until the third book comes out. As if that's how this book ends, and as if that's how this book ends, and I just accepted that and went along with that and didn't lose my mind. Oh my god. Alright, so we're done, I guess. That was Wayward Son. What the fuck? I will see you guys in a couple, I think there's still a couple weeks till the third book comes out, so there'll be a couple weeks between this reading vlog probably and the reading vlog for Anyway the Wind Blows, I think is what it's called. So I'll see you then. I can't believe that's the ending. Thank you very much for watching. I love you deeply. I love you so very much. I'll see you soon. Mwah.